Imagine holding absolute power over the known world. Every treasury of the Roman Empire, millions of soldiers, and any luxury imaginable responding to your slightest gesture. Yet the reality of running that empire meant daily exposure to devastating plagues, military campaigns, and deep betrayals from those closest to him. We don't command Roman legions, but we navigate our own chaotic environments. We face arbitrary corporate decisions, the gridlock shown here, and an endless stream of digital anxiety. 2,000 years ago, Stoic philosophy identified a specific psychological trap. When we exhaust ourselves trying to dictate traffic, weather, or other people's opinions, forces completely outside our reach, we manufacture our own stress. Marcus Aurelius understood this. Sitting alone in battlefield tents, he didn't write speeches to impress the public. He wrote a private journal to fortify his own mind against the chaos. He realized that true authority comes from securing the hidden mental space where we decide how to react to the external world. Between an external stimulus and your response exists a window of choice. Modern environments collapse that window. Algorithms and urgent notifications push us into immediate emotional reactions. Expanding that gap requires a shift in perception. An event only harms us when our mind labels it. If a manager aggressively rejects your project in an office like this, the event is simply that the presentation was declined. Any resulting suffering is a product of the mind labeling it a catastrophe rather than a source of feedback. This reframing also applies to the difficult people you encounter. Instead of taking an insult personally, you can choose to view a toxic or arrogant colleague with empathy, seeing them as someone acting out of their own internal ignorance. When you treat the mind as an impenetrable fortress, an insult essentially becomes a rejected gift. It simply remains in the hands of the person trying to deliver it. A fortified mind handles daily irritations easily, but severe, unavoidable setbacks will eventually hit hard enough to test those defenses. When a path is blocked, the Stoic response is to realize the obstruction isn't stopping your progress. The obstruction becomes the new path. Consider a sudden gust of wind. If it hits a small, fragile candle, the flame is instantly extinguished. But if that exact same gust of wind hits a massive wildfire, the dynamic reverses. The wind acts as fuel, driving the fire to spread faster and consume everything in its path. Apply that logic to a professional blow, like a partner walking away with shared assets. That betrayal forces you to build tighter contracts and learn to operate entirely independently. A trained Stoic mind actively digests tragedies, extracting specific lessons from the wreckage to build a battle-tested framework for what comes next. Maintaining this level of mental discipline requires a harsh anchor. The Romans called it memento mori, the active, daily reminder of one's own mortality. Recognizing the mathematical limit on your remaining days creates a psychological filter for modern distractions. This awareness forces a ruthless prioritization. It becomes increasingly difficult to justify spending a limited lifespan on internet arguments, social media validation, or petty grievances. This perspective clarifies exactly how to start your day. You get out of bed to fulfill your natural obligations with character, focusing on the work in front of you instead of chasing temporary status. Marcus Aurelius left us with a vivid image for this mindset. Life is an ocean of chaotic, uncontrollable events that will violently and repeatedly crash against you, much like these waves. We cannot stop the tide, and we cannot dictate what the world throws at us. But by mastering the space between stimulus and response, we possess the ultimate freedom to choose to be the rock.